welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, what's up? My name is Lisa. Definitely make sure you subscribe. So this has been a video that I've wanted to do for a very long time because I get so many questions all the time about how to get started on social media, what it's like having a career on social media, my experience, tips, and stuff like that. And so last night I asked you guys on Instagram to send me questions and I got literally so many. I scrolled all the way through the bottom and I picked 30, but there were so many left. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'll make sure to do a part 2 and go through the other questions. But for now, I have 30 to answer. So if you're interested in hearing about my social media career, how I got started, stuff like that, make sure to keep on watching. Obviously give this video a thumbs up and everything, and let me know down below if you want to see a part 2, and let's get started. So I'm gonna answer these as honest as possible. And before I answer all of them, I firstly just want to, is that a word? I first just want to quickly give a summary of how I started. So back in 2017, like early 2017, I was on Twitter a lot. I was kind of like in fandoms and stuff, and a lot of people kept asking me and telling me like, oh, you need to make a YouTube channel. And I'd wanted to do YouTube since I was like 13 or something. Like, it's always been something I'd watch and I loved it so much. So since everyone was asking me and I was like, okay, people are gonna watch me if I do it, I decided to make a YouTube account. Well, I had an account, it was like a year old, but I hadn't posted on it. I was already very much into graphics, editing, and stuff like that. I guess it was kind of an advantage that I had. So I made myself some graphics and I filmed a get ready with me, kind of like a get to know me, I think it was. And I just had people send me questions. I don't remember where they send it. It might have been like Curious Cat or something, because I used to use that all the time on Twitter. But I did like a little get to know me type of get ready with me. I don't think it's up anymore. I'm pretty sure I privated that video because it's so embarrassing. But that's kind of how I started, and I wasn't really making much money off my YouTube. Like, I wasn't getting paid from AdSense for the first, I don't know how many months. I'd have to look at that. Because at this time I was still working. I was in school. I think I was almost done with school. So yeah, it was just honestly kind of on the side. It was a hobby. I definitely started out pretty consistently. I think I uploaded like 2 times a week or something. Wasn't really posting much on Instagram. Instagram was kind of on the side. And then I think around like 2018, I started to kind of pick up and I started making some money off of my videos. I started having, especially a lot of hair brands contact me to do collaborations. I was doing a lot of hair content, a lot of like get ready with me's with hair, which was like how I was making most of my money. I wasn't making money on Instagram at this time. I was just on YouTube. I'd say 2019, I would sometimes have like a collab on YouTube, and then they would also want me to do a post on Instagram, but I barely ever had any sponsored stuff going on Instagram. I didn't have that many followers. I'd say maybe like 20k, maybe 30. And then in 2020 I was like, okay, I really want to start posting good content. I want to start posting consistently. So I started doing that in January of last year, and I started kind of growing a little bit. It was going really well. And my goal for 2020 was to hit 60k on Instagram and I think 300k on YouTube. Within the first couple of months, I'd already hit my 60k like goal on Instagram. And then during like May, June, around the time that obviously like Black Lives Matter completely blew up again and it was like a whole thing on the internet, I was getting reposted a lot because I was obviously like one of the Black content creators. People were like, oh, follow her, whatever. My Instagram didn't really start growing until last year, and then over the summer my account just kind of blew up, and now I'm at 250k I think, which is crazy because my goal for last year was 60k. Like, wow. And then YouTube also kind of grew along with it because a lot of people from my Instagram would also check out my YouTube, so I kind of was able to bring that audience over there because most of my audience from YouTube wasn't really on my Instagram that much, but I also just wasn't really putting effort into my Instagram. So that's kind of my journey. And then last year as well, right before my account like fully blew up on Instagram, I got contacted by Muse the agency, which is my management. Signing with the managers was really scary to me. I'm gonna answer a question about this later because I want to go more in depth, but just to discuss my own personal experience, I had a YouTube like network that I was signed to for 2 years called Full Screen, and they signed me when I was still kind of like growing. I was very new to YouTube, but I'd heard of them. They were signed, they had signed like a bunch of like YouTubers that I watched, so I was like super intrigued, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Honestly, YouTube networks to me are a joke. I wouldn't recommend signing to them ever. They took like 20% of my AdSense and they never really did much for me, so there you go. I managed myself until last year, and I'm glad that I made the decision to sign with my agency. Obviously, every management is going to be different and you need to find one that fits you, but when they reached out, I was definitely a little scared because of the experience that I had, but in the end, like, signing with my management was the best decision I could have made. Also just takes a lot of like the work off of my shoulders when it comes to managing brand deals, stuff like that. And it also made my income just skyrocket because I didn't know what I could actually ask for certain content, and they knew exactly what to ask for, and they knew what certain brands would pay, so they really helped me with that. And I have an amazing manager. She literally likes my rock. Like, what I'm doing right now, I couldn't do without her. Like, she's been able to really make my job a lot easier. So for me, having a management is very important. I really wanted to put all my time and focus on creating the actual content and like editing and stuff, because some people will manage themselves but will have like an editor. So everyone's kind of different within that, and I guess you'd have to just do whatever you feel comfortable with. I don't feel comfortable having someone edit my videos. I've tried to look for one, but it's just I can't do it. So I like putting all of my time and effort into creating and editing the content, and then all the managing part, all of that, my manager does, and she does a great job. So yeah, here we are now. I've been doing this full time for I think I started going full time in like 2019, 18, 19-ish. Until then, I was still working, and I was done with school, and then I worked full time, and I was doing YouTube as well, and then eventually I was making enough for me to quit my full-time job. But yeah, that's kind of my story. I don't know what else to tell you. I think that's kind of a summary. I don't want to make it too long because I still have so many questions to answer, and I think this video is going to be really long, but that is kind of how my story went. As I'm answering these questions, you'll get to know a bit more about my experience, but I think that's kind of like a summary. As I said, I have a management, and someone asked me, when did you get a management and do you need one? So not everyone needs one. It depends on what you find important, and obviously if you find a good one. Muse reached out to me. I know that you'd probably be able to reach out to a management if you want to, which you can totally do if you feel like you want one, even if you're a smaller creator, because Muse has like smaller creators as well. You can always, you know, send an email, pitch yourself, be like, hey, I just started, I'd love a management that can kind of help me get this kind of going and can give me some advice, can help me reach out to brands, because I find it pretty hard to do that myself. I did it for a really long time because that's all I knew, but now that I have a manager, the way she does it, I couldn't, so I'm very glad that I have one. But if you feel like you want one and you're just starting out, don't be scared to reach out to like agencies and stuff, because they don't just sign big creators. Like, there's also agencies and managements that have smaller creators as well, because those are also part of social media world, and you might end up just starting out with a lot of gifting, and you won't really get paid that much yet. But even getting gifting in the beginning, when you're still growing, is really nice, because you won't have to spend money on clothes, and you'll get those clothes, and then you can create content with it, which can help you grow, and eventually you will get to a point where you will get paid. I'm answering a question about this later as well, but just so you know, if you're a smaller creator and you might sign to an agency, it's very possible that you will first start with a lot of gifting. Just because you're signed to a management doesn't mean you're right away gonna make a lot of money. It really depends on, obviously, your engagement, your following, your content, all of that. But when did you decide to do social media full-time? What was the transition like? So like I said, I was working full-time. I just finished school. I finished quite early because I wasn't enjoying it. So I was like, I just turned 18. I started working full-time at Starbucks at the airport, and during this time my mental health was really bad, which resulted in me just completely my anxiety was just so bad. I couldn't work anymore. I was very deep into an eating disorder, and during this time I was on YouTube, and I wasn't able to work there anymore, so I was home a lot, and I was trying to recover just from like all the issues I was having, trying to better my mental health, was going to therapy, stuff like that. And during this time, I just had a lot more time to focus on YouTube. So I just decided to just like put all my time and effort into it and get to a point where I'd be able to just do it full time and not have to work on the side. And that ended up working out pretty well, you know, and it helped a lot with my mental health as well, because just going to a job and having like a strict schedule just wasn't working for me at the time, because some days I'd feel really good and then some days I'd feel so depressed I couldn't even get out of bed. So being able to make my own work schedule really helped with that, and it allowed me to take those moments for myself and take those days off when I needed to, which a regular 9-to-5 job would not have been able to give me. So that was a transition like for me. And yeah, I just did it because I knew that I was making enough money to quit my job. I was making more money on YouTube than my full-time job was making me. How do you ensure to continue to have interesting content? I try to sometimes watch some like lifestyle and fashion YouTubers just to get a feel of like what's trending right now, what are people watching, and I always ask you guys as well, like what content do you want to see, and then I try to come up with some interesting ideas and interesting stuff. And over the years my content has changed a lot. You know, I used to do a lot more makeup and hair, and now it's just a little bit of makeup and hair and mostly fashion and more lifestyle. And so as I'm obviously getting older and growing, my content will continue to change, and I feel like that keeps it interesting as well. Have you ever had sketchy accounts DM you about collabs on their main page? I still get these and I don't open them anymore, like I don't reply. And sometimes people ask me like, oh, a brand is like reached out and they want to work with me, but I have to pay for shipping, stuff like that. Just know that if a brand reaches out to you, you should not be paying anything. You should either be getting it for free for like a post or something, or you're getting paid. You should not be paying a brand anything to work with them. That's already, just don't fall for it. Please don't. Can a shy person be an influencer / content creator? I mean, yes. I wouldn't say I'm a shy person anymore. I used to be really shy and I had a lot of social anxiety, which has gotten a lot better also because of this job. In the beginning, like I would not be able to go anywhere by myself. Nothing work related, I wouldn't go by myself. Events, I always went with my sister. I feel like now I would be able to go by myself, but I still prefer taking someone with me just because I never feel comfortable in those settings, because the people there are just not the way that I am. Like I just don't fit in. So I still prefer bringing someone with me, but it's not like I'm like shy anymore to be there. Like I can, you know, socialize, whatever. But if you're a shy person, I say it's actually a good thing, because it'll really help you kind of step out of your comfort zone a lot. And especially once you have certain opportunities, like this past Monday, I had a video shoot and photo shoot with Snipes for this thing that I'm doing with them. And I had to go by myself to Germany, and I did it all. And like a year ago, I would not have been able to do that because that just freaked me out. I would literally just be like, no, I'm not doing it. Missing out on money, on opportunities, on exposure, on like networking. And now I did this and I wasn't even anxious. Like I was totally fine doing it, which has been such like, it's crazy growth. And that's why I'm saying like it can actually help a lot with your shyness and your anxiety, and like it can really help you grow in that. It can be uncomfortable, but eventually, like I promise, like it's been so great for me. How do you get paid and how much is your average salary? So I'm not going to tell you guys how much I make because that's just a little too much. I get paid, I have a lot of different sources of income, and I'm gonna do a whole video on this, but just to lay it out, I hope I'm not forgetting anything. I get paid on YouTube from AdSense, and then also from sponsorships. On Instagram, I get paid for sponsorships, and then I also do affiliate linking on different platforms. There's a couple different that I use. Whenever I link clothing or makeup or skincare or anything, if I can affiliate link it, I will, because I make small percentages. Sometimes it's like 2%, sometimes it's 15%, really depends. But that's also part of my income. So monthly, I get money monthly just from affiliate links. And then I also get paid from modeling. So last year I did a shoot with Bershka and I modeled for their collection. And then, like I said, on Monday, I had a shoot with Snipes and I pretty much modeled for there, because it's for on their YouTube, it's their content, it's not for on my page. So that's modeling, I guess, that I'm also doing. Because of COVID, there's just not much I've been able to do, but hopefully eventually I'll be able to travel more, do more modeling opportunities, stuff like that. So modeling is also part of my job now, which never thought I would be able to do that. I'm like, I haven't started this yet, but something I'm going to start doing is content creation for brands. So that's basically creating content for their pages. I'm not posting any of it. So a brand would like send me like 10 outfits and I take photos in them, send it over, and they can use that and I would get paid for that. So that's something I'm going to start doing soon. Another source of income would be like selling my clothes on like Depop. I've only done it like a couple of times and I need to do it again, but obviously a lot of the clothes that I get I haven't paid for. So like selling them after, because I don't wear them anymore and they still look good, I make money from that, and that's just, you know, another source of income, I guess. But that's not something that I get monthly. I do that whenever I do like a closet clean out, but that's another source of income. So like I said, I'm gonna do a whole video on it and I'm gonna go super like in depth on how everything works and stuff, so stay tuned for that. But I think those are all my sources of income for right now. How did you get started working with brands? Did you reach out or did they? I honestly cannot remember my first like sponsorship or collaboration. I literally have no clue. I think it might be like a hair brand or something, but I do know that brands started reaching out to me. I've barely ever reached out to brands because I never knew how to. Now that I obviously have a management, we do it a lot more often. Like whenever I feel like I want to work with this brand, I just tell my manager and she'll reach out. If you're good at presenting yourself and pitching yourself, I would absolutely suggest reaching out. Just create like a standard email that you can send out to these brands, why you would want to work with them and what you have to offer them, because that's really important as well. I'd say totally go ahead and do that. I never knew how to, but if I did, then I definitely would have. This is a big question I get all the time. How did you grow your following? I cannot give you like a specific like solution. All I know is that from the start, I've always tried to be very consistent, tried to be very genuine, and also create a relationship with your followers. I feel like all of you are like my friends and I love talking to you. I love DMing you. I love that we have certain like inside jokes or like certain memories. Whenever someone DMs me like, oh, remember when back then you did this? And I was like, oh my God, dude. And I think it's really important to create a relationship with your audience, because there's people on Instagram that you follow because they're really pretty and their style is cute, but you don't know anything about them because they're not very personal on their, you know, social media, on their platform. They don't share that much, or they just keep everything very, how do you say that? Platonic? I don't know if that's the right word. Over the years, I've really been able to create a relationship with my audience, and I try to include you guys in everything that I do. I never wanted people to follow me and look at me and just because they think I'm pretty or they like my style. I really wanted them to look at me and like feel inspired by something that I said or do, or just feel like, a lot of you guys always say whenever you watch my vlogs, it feels like I'm on FaceTime with you, and I love that so much. Like that's the biggest thing that I always wanted to create, is just to give you that feeling like we're friends, and that it doesn't just feel like you're watching a girl just being pretty and putting on cute clothes. And you know, I wanted there to be more, and I feel like that's really important as well, to build a following but also maintain your following, because sometimes people blow up but then they kind of lose it again because they don't keep up with their audience and they don't keep them entertained and stuff like that. Hope that makes sense. I don't know. When did you realize you're on the right path of your career? Ooh, I mean, 2 years ago I was still thinking about getting a different job and quitting. I was making okay money, but I just wasn't feeling happy, and I just was very stressed out, definitely, about the financial situation, because every month is so different. Like I never knew how much I was going to make the next month, and that was really stressing me out. And I guess when it got to the point where I knew that I was making enough money and I was going to get money monthly and I didn't have to worry about finances and income anymore, that's when I knew that I was on the right path. And that started like last year, right after I guess my Instagram kind of started blowing up and I got a management. That gave me so much peace of mind that I was like, okay, I can actually do this. I can continue doing this and I'm okay with it. Because I used to have so much anxiety about finances and money, and you know, I was making a pretty good amount, but it was just still so unpredictable. Sometimes I'd make a really good amount and then sometimes be like, oh, I can just about pay my bills with this. And now I just know that, you know, this is coming in, I'm good, and having a management also really helps with that. So yeah, I think that's that moment, and when I was like, okay, I can actually move out, I can afford this, I can afford helping my mom financially, stuff like that, that's when I knew like I was on the right path. How did you figure out your brand aesthetic, and any tips? I feel like for me this changes all the time. I mean, I just switched up my graphics. It's completely different than the ones I had before. I am growing as a person obviously every day, and as I'm growing, my aesthetic will change, and I show that in my videos. I mean, if you watch back a video from me like from like a year or two ago, I'm so different. My personality is very different because I've grown a lot and I've gotten a lot more mature, more open, more comfortable in front of the camera. Even though at the time I thought I was like doing really well, like now I notice how much I've grown in that, and my aesthetic has changed. And besides consistency, what is an essential element to launching your social media career? Like I said, building a relationship with your audience is really important. Even if it's a small audience, even if you have 50 followers, build a relationship with them. Be yourself, showing your personality, not just trying to be like everyone else. Like, you can take inspiration from whoever you want to, but still try to make it yours, and try to create something that people will look at and be like, oh, this is different, you know? Yeah, I'm not just watching your average YouTuber or your average Instagrammer. I feel like everyone's so different from me, and that's great. I love taking inspiration from people, but I always still make something my own. And I think that's really important as well, because that's what attracts people to you. You know, when they look at your page, like, oh, this is so different, but I like it, if that makes sense. Do you ever feel like you'd want more privacy and kind of regret showing your life online? Yes and no, but I definitely nowadays pay more attention to what I keep private. I feel like when I first started, I would definitely tell you guys more and just spill up the beans a bit more, because I didn't realize the amount of people that were watching and that I was telling it to. But now I like to keep certain things private, you know, like certain things in my personal life and like my love life. I share little things, but not really anything. I like to keep that private. Whenever something feels right to share, I will, and if it doesn't, then I won't. And I think that's the best way to go about it. You know, sometimes I get certain questions about personal things, you know, like, why don't you talk about your dad and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want to share that, and I don't have to. So whenever I decide to not talk about something, I do that because I don't want to regret sharing it, and I want to keep some parts of my life private, and it's been going well. So how do you deal with your personal anxiety in your life as a social media influencer? Like I said earlier, it has helped me a lot to step out of my comfort zone, go through new experiences, and I genuinely think this job has helped me grow so much as a person. It's been really great, and I'm so thankful that I have this. I do try to listen to my cues a lot. Like, whenever I feel like I'm not feeling filming, my mental health isn't strong enough that day to film, I won't, because it always ends up bad. It always ends up in me crying or just turning off the camera. So I definitely try to listen to my body and my head and my mind and my heart, everything. If something doesn't feel right, I'll do it the next day. And I try not to be too hard on myself because of that, because at the end of the day, I deal with mental health issues and I can't help it. The only thing I can do is let myself, I guess, go through the emotions, recover from it, you know. I try not to take too long. Like, sometimes it's just a day that I need to just clear my head. I let myself do that, and then I'll pick it right back up. Like, I don't let myself stay in a rut for too long, but sometimes you need to allow yourself to, like, just cry it out, let it all out, and then pick yourself right back up. And that's what I've been doing, and luckily I'm able to do that because I, you know, manage my own work and I get to make my own schedules. What's the difference between an ad, sponsored post, and gifting? So an ad and a sponsored post is pretty much the same. You have sponsored content, and then you have gifting. And within gifting basically just means you get product for free. And sometimes you do gifting, which is non-obligation, which just means you get sent something for free. You can decide what you do with it. You don't have to post it. If you do wear it, you can tag it in just like your organic content, and that's like fine. And then there's also gifting where they still expect like something back. So you do gifting for a post, gifting for a video, stuff like that. And then sponsored content is obviously you'll get product for free, and then you'll also get paid for whatever you're gonna do for them. So that's kind of the difference between those three. How long does it take to start earning money? This is different for everyone. I cannot give you an exact amount. Some people earn money super quick, they blow up super fast. Some people it takes years. So everyone's really on their own timing and their own journey, and I wouldn't look at someone else and try to do the same thing or expect the same thing, because everyone has such a different experience. How do people react when you tell them about your job? I honestly hate telling people about my job. I don't like it at all, because a lot of people don't take it serious and don't realize that it's an actual job. A lot of people still think that it's just taking a photo and you're done. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm so proud of, you know, the business that I have, and I get to be my own boss at 21 years old, you know, and I get to make all these plans for the future that I never thought I'd be able to do. So people can, you know, not take me serious and laugh at what I'm doing, but at the end of the day, I'm in my bag and, you know, I'm doing good, so don't worry about it. Do you see yourself doing this for the rest of your life, or do you have other future plans? Definitely not for the rest of my life. I'd love to, within the next like 5 years, have a couple of different businesses and companies that I can set up and work on, so that I have more streams of income, but also kind of move my audience from being an influencer content creator to, you know, having my own clothing brand and having actual customers. Like, I kind of want to move it over and do this more part-time and then have my other businesses full-time, because I don't want to forever be on camera filming everything. I'd love to still continue doing it for as long as I can, but eventually I don't want it to be my full-time income anymore. Also, like, when I start like a family and stuff, I definitely want my life to be more private, and being on YouTube constantly is not going to help with that. So I'd probably slowly migrate it over to some other stuff, but I definitely always want to continue being my own boss and having my own business and stuff like that. How do you mix taking care of your mental health with your social media career? This is kind of the same question as I answered earlier, but over the past couple years, I've gone through a lot that you guys don't know about, and I feel like I hid it very well because I don't always want to share everything online, like I said, but being able to make my own schedule and taking time off whenever I need it has helped a lot. And also sometimes sharing certain experiences has helped me, you know, get it off your chest and feel like you maybe be able to help someone else out. But sometimes it's also really hard, because when you're dealing with body dysmorphia, for example, and you're on social media and Instagram constantly seeing all these skinny models and you're like, oh, I don't look like that doesn't help. So something that I've done, you know, like, this has taken me a while, but I think at this point, like, I'm very good at it, is I'm not really much on social media outside of working. So the only app I'll be on is like TikTok and Twitter, but not even to look at like pretty girls. It's just for comedy, and most times in my free time I'm just on Twitch watching guys play Fortnite. So that's like that isn't bad for my mental health, you know what I mean? Like, I try to stay off social media so I don't compare myself outside of work. Like, I'm really not on it that much. And also, like, whenever I'm with people, I'll just put my phone away, and it's so nice to just not be on social media, because it can be very toxic. And some days I just don't post at all. I just don't post on my story. I keep my phone away, and that really helps as well. So finding a balance between that is really good, because I used to be on it like 24/7, even outside of working, and it's really, really bad. How do you stay motivated to film every day? Well, I don't film every day because I can't. Like I said, I sometimes really need a break, and if I really don't feel like filming that day, I'll do it the next day. I used to vlog every single day, and I can't do that anymore because it's not good for my mental health. Sometimes I'll go through moments where I'm like, okay, I can vlog like every day this week, I'll be fine, but I can't do that constantly. Like, being on camera constantly is very hard. It's very hard. Sometimes I just want to sit at my desk and edit videos and look like a bum and not have to talk, not have to see anyone, not have anyone see me, and that's like totally fine. So I feel like filming every day, the people that do it, they're very strong, and I'm sure they struggle with it as well, because filming every day is not healthy. Would you ever take a break from social media? I don't think I would take a break, because it's my job, and if I don't work, there's no money coming in. So taking a break is very hard. I'd obviously take like vacations, but even if I go on vacation, I'm still posting. Like, I'll still make content. So I feel like I never get a full-on break. I should get better at that. I feel like the breaks that I take is just like not posting all the time, and sometimes just getting off and being in the moment. But a full-on break, I probably wouldn't, because it's my job, and I love my job as well. Like, I don't want to just stop it. And like I said, if I don't work, money isn't coming in. So how do you stay organized and on top of things? Well, I just posted a video on my Google Calendar, how I plan my life in my Google Calendar. I'm gonna do more parts to that. I'm gonna show my Notion and everything. So I'll link that video down below if you want to check it out. How do I create a media cart and rate cards? Or a media kit and rate card, sorry. I have created my own media kits before. There are some templates online that I used at the time. Now my management does that for me, so I don't do that anymore. I know there's also a website that helps you like with rates and stuff, but honestly, I'm really bad at setting up rates. My manager usually, like I'll ask her like, what do you think I could ask for this? And she'll say it and I'll be like, okay, that sounds pretty good. I'm not good with that. So honestly, I feel like I can't really give you advice on that. I'm sure there's a lot of YouTube videos on here that will kind of explain to you how to rate yourself, but I'm not good at it. I have to say, I'm really not good at it. And media kits, you can easily just like find templates online and just fill them in yourself, or you can maybe pay someone to make you one, like a graphic designer if you want it to look really nice. It's just like investing into your business, right? So if you think it's worth to do that, then you can pay someone to do it, or else you can just try to make it yourself. We're almost done, you guys. I've been talking for like 40 minutes. How does your mom feel about your job? My mom, it's so funny because my mom is from like 1957, so she's, you know, from a completely different generation. And in the beginning, she had no clue what all of this was, but now she's so like up to date with everything. She knows all the lingo, she knows all the words. Last year, before she had surgery on her knee, she actually used to take all my photos, and then I started doing it myself because she couldn't. But my mom was very active within my job, and she would help me out with photos and stuff. And now she has like an Instagram account which she does not post, but she just follows my sister and I so she can see our content. She's also like, oh, nice photo on Insta. Like she watches all my videos. She'll like play all my ads. She's like, yeah, just let the ads play out because he gives you money. So yeah, my mom's super supportive. She loves it. And she, in the beginning, she didn't understand exactly what it was, but obviously because I've been doing it for a few years, she gets it now, and she takes it very serious. Like she knows what I'm doing, and I'm very glad that she's like that, because I know there's a lot of parents that still don't really understand social media, and I totally get that. And they can't really understand that, you know, it's a whole ass career, and it's a job. Like it's a job, and luckily my mom knows that, and she's like super supportive. So which source makes you the most money? I say probably Instagram, because I do most of my sponsored stuff on Instagram. On YouTube, I do sponsored stuff every now and then, but obviously I also make money from AdSense, which just depends on my video views, on like my rate per view and all of that. I'm not good at that. Yeah, I could probably make more on my AdSense, but I haven't, like I don't want to put like 20 ads in a video. You know, I put the amount of ads I feel like are appropriate, and I just post 2 to 3 times a week, and sometimes a video does better than another, and you know, that has an effect on my AdSense. But there's not a lot of sponsored content on my YouTube, honestly. I'm like totally picking it back up. Like I want to do a bit more because I feel like I can, but most of my Instagram, like most of my money comes from Instagram, because I just like regularly do sponsored stuff on there, because there's not really any other way to monetize your Instagram, so it's kind of like necessary. So I'd say Instagram, yeah. Instagram, YouTube, and then the rest. How did you first decide in your channel's content and what you wanted your channel to be about? At the time, I was really into hair and makeup, fashion too, but I had no money, so I couldn't really dress the way I wanted to. You know, I just couldn't. You guys know what it's like when you don't have money, like you can't fully wear what you want. So I was mainly focused on hair and makeup, and I just started with content like that, and then eventually I started vlogging. I got myself a vlog camera, started vlogging a little bit, and then it slowly just changed. Less makeup, less hair, fashion, lifestyle, vlogs, stuff like that. A little bit of beauty. Now it's just a combination of everything, and it's perfect. Okay, last couple questions, guys. I'm ready to end this. Oh my god. How are you able to afford shopping so frequently? So I actually don't even shop myself that often. Because most of the stuff I just receive for free. I get a lot of gifted stuff. I really don't buy clothes that often, and whenever I do, it's probably from brands that I either can or don't work with, or it's hard to work with, or they just don't work with influencers, or I just see something I think is really cute and I just get it, or I buy myself like a designer piece, because I just really don't spend that much money on clothes and stuff. It's really not as much as you guys think. But that's why I said in the beginning, if you can start out and get a lot of stuff gifted, that can already help you out, because it just gives you all these free clothes to create content with, which can help you grow eventually. And you can even do like affiliate linking and stuff. I'm gonna talk about that in my source of income video, but yeah, I don't pay for most of my clothes. Like most of the stuff I have hanging here is like I just got for free. How do you keep motivated with school and work? So if you don't watch my vlogs, you wouldn't know, but I dropped out of school last month because it was too much, you know. It wasn't good for my mental health. Work is number one for me always, and so I knew that school had to go for me to fully put my focus on work again, because I was slacking and I wasn't feeling happy, and school was just getting too much. Even though I loved it, it was just not working for me. So I ended up dropping out. Not saying you have to do that. It really depends on the workload you have. Some people will put school above work, and for me it was just like the opposite, because my income is work, and if I don't work, I'm not gonna have money, and school's not gonna just give me money. So and also obviously I already kind of have a career right now, so I don't necessarily need school at the moment. It's gonna be different for everyone, but for me it was really hard to do both, which is why I dropped out. This question I found very interesting. This girl asked me, can I do it solely for the money, or must I have a passion? And I can totally understand why someone would do it for the money, because even though I didn't start out like that, because I didn't know how much money was in there, nowadays it's a lot more, people are more transparent about how much you can make on social media. I can just like post photos and get paid, like that's great. So like it's okay if you also do it for the money. This social media world is so big, it's so saturated. If you start just thinking, oh, I want to make money, there's a huge chance you're not going to succeed. But if you start with the thought of like, I find this really fun to do and it'd be great if I can make it my job, it's going to help you a lot more, because if not, you're going to be super disappointed, because you're not going to start out and instantly start making money. It can take forever, and it's going to take a lot of work and effort. And if you're just doing it for the money and the money's not coming in, then you're not going to be able to last. So I would say definitely make sure you have some kind of passion for whatever content you're posting, because if not, you're not going to be able to keep up with it, especially when you're in the beginning stages and you're not making any money or much money. Okay, y'all, this is the last question. I'm ready to wrap this up. Oh wait, no, this question was which platform earns you the most money, but I already answered this. It's Instagram. I didn't even realize I put those questions in there twice. Yeah, I've been talking for 45 minutes. It's time to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see a part 2, because there were so many more questions that I got. And this was already a lot. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this video and try to keep it short. It's probably gonna be long still, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it helped you out. And if you have any more questions, you can obviously leave them in the comments. I try to reply to that all the time, and maybe someone else can give you an answer. But yeah, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and of course subscribe, and also turn on my post notifications so that you'll be notified every time I upload a video. And follow me on my Instagram, because I post on there every single day. Whether that's on my story or on my feed, I'm pretty much always active. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.